Hi,
Hi there, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I'm sorry about the pause, but my summary of our topics was a little bit too long and it didn't fit, so I had to go and take out
That's
some
okay.
character.
No way. No worries. No worries. Thank you for
Awesome.
having me. Oh my goodness.
Thank
Yay!
thank you for taking the time. Now, first things first, I need to figure out how to properly pronounce your name.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's Taya.
All right, good, good, good. I was on the right track, so that's
Well,
good.
thank you. A lot of people don't know how to pronounce it, so I appreciate you
Yeah, yeah,
asking me.
yeah,
What's your name?
no, because Angel.
Ain't I? That is amazing. I'm sure you get this reaction all the time, but it's
I do.
beautiful.
I do. I do. Well, I can thank my mother for that. So
Yes.
there we go.
Thank you, Mama.
There we go. So we have a couple people joining already, and we have lots of topics to cover. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna jump right in,
Yeah.
and I will save it to IGTV. For those who cannot watch the full episode live, they can catch up later when they have some more time.
Yeah. Perfect. Sounds great.
Awesome. So first of all, Taya, I want to again thank you for taking the time. I have been following your page, and I don't want to tell you yet some of the highlights from me. I'm gonna kind of wait as we go along our topics to tell you some of the benefits that I have reaped and received from your page. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right in here. And thanks everybody for watching. And if you do have questions and comments for Taya, please pop them down in the comment section below and she'll be happy to answer them. So Taya, first of all, please, if you could share with us your vegan journey, how you started and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was a long one. But it also happened really suddenly. So, oh gosh. Okay. So it was supposed to happen when I first moved. No, it happened when I first moved to New York because that was when I was like, oh my gosh, this is the first day of my life. And I'm starting all of my dreams. Everything's happening. It was supposed to be such a wonderful, ecstatic time of my life. And it was, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I was a young woman just starting out her life in New York, a very hustly, fast-paced
Woo!
place.
For sure. The energy is like, woo!
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. And it is electrifying. It's so amazing. But if you're not ready for it, it could really eat you. And it did for me. I was going through a breakup at the time. So that was a part of my stress. And then it also, I had kind of been juked by my neighbors. One of them would be awful and harass me, and then the other one would like bang on my floor. I don't really get it. Anyway, so then I had a really awful job that it wasn't awful. It was different for me.
It
I
wasn't a good fit. Yeah.
yeah, fast-paced hospitality job that also added stress, and it was just a different scene for me. I was the youngest one there, so a lot of it was like trying to show everyone I can do this, even though I was kind of pushing down my priorities of myself. Like that was non-existent. And so then obviously my entire schedule was backwards. I started to sleep in the daytime, wake up and go to work in the nighttime, kind of excuse all of my eating and my replenishing moments, and I shoved it down the drain. I was just like, that's not important right now. I have to pay rent. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So obviously in little to no time, my jeans stopped fitting. I had lots of acne. My hair, everything was so stressed. And I feel like the best word to explain, to describe this period of my life was just simply inflamed. Like everything was inflamed. My body was inflamed. My emotions and my mental health was inflamed. And everything around me just seemed to be floating, and I couldn't get anything down and stable. And I only had myself. I didn't have any friends in the city. Even though it felt like home to me, it was still like I needed to work and get there and find a balance. So I reached out to a friend who is my current boyfriend.
Ooh,
Yes.
I always love these stories. So
Yes.
tell everybody.
I will. Okay, so oh gosh, that's a whole other story. But he had moved from LA because I moved from LA. So he had moved from LA too, and he was there, and he was the only person I knew that would just be there. So I was like, okay, I'm going through some health things, and I feel awful about myself. I've never been, switching clothing sizes so rapidly, and that was like gutting to me. I've never felt that before. Because I've always taken time and like care of myself, but it was in a completely different headspace than I am now. So I'll get to that. But so I asked for help, and we started very little bits at a time. We're like, okay, make sure you drink your water, make sure you get enough sleep. Like, let's readjust time in the work schedule. Maybe figure out if that's even a good environment for you, because primary food is something that doesn't come from the plate. It's actually everything around you, your relationship, finances, work, home life, etc. You get it. And I lost myself, but finally I was able to almost subconsciously implement moments of self-love and intention to my life, and it felt amazing, because as soon as I looked down, I was like, wow, my legs feel toned and nice, and I'm not even working out. Because that was part of a big step that I was not ready to take yet. So I was just looking at little things, and finally, I was like, I'm going to put on my jeans again, see if they fit me. And I was in a different living space when I had tuned in and checked in with my body. My jeans fit. I felt great. My confidence was up. My hair started growing. I felt so amazing, and I could genuinely feel empty after each meal and feel full after each meal. So it was this beautiful balance, and I was eating all plants. And that's when I watched What the Health, and that's what spurred on my I was disgusted by all those films I watched.
Yeah, they're hard to watch.
They're really hard. And you've seen them all too. Everyone has.
No. I haven't seen them all. But I've seen some, and what I've seen, sometimes I have to stop watching, honestly.
I'll start crying and I can't stop. And people will look at me and laugh if they haven't seen it. I'm like, you don't know. It's really gut-wrenching.
It is.
Not just what they do to the animals, but also what they meaning just bigger entities, what they do to manipulate us as consumers and trying to...
All the marketing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Bitter side of the world that we need to fix. And so
totally.
I got on this rampage of education and trying to just feed myself everything at once. And it was so intense.
It is.
Now I'm a health coach, and that was kind of my vegan journey. I've been vegan, plant-based, because I was vegetarian prior to becoming vegan for 5 years.
Yes.
And that was simply because I hated meat, just plain and simple. I had to burn it to get a crunch, and milk had to be frozen. My dad would make me drink milk every day.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? When we're growing up, it's like, ew. Yeah.
So all those things kind of melted away, and I felt amazing. And now, I have all these qualifications behind my belt, and I feel amazing. And now I'm here helping and supporting other people, which is I quit my job. I traveled to Greece for a moment and then came back, and I'm like, I'm a health coach.
It's so funny you say that, because Greece is magical. Greece is, I did that 5 years ago in 2015. I was going through a personal situation, and I just booked a trip to Greece for 7 days. And I tell you, it was just magical. It was just whoa. It was like a reset button.
Yeah.
So I can relate to your trip to Greece.
I mean, Greece had nothing to do with my, I didn't intentionally choose Greece.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of with my boyfriend and I.
Yes.
We decided to go.
Okay.
But let me tell you, we felt the magic you're talking about. We did. And it was
amazing.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. All right. Well, shout out to Greece there.
Yes. Woo!
So thanks to everyone who's joining. If you have questions or comments for Taya, please pop them down in the comment section below, and she'll be happy to answer them. Okay. And meanwhile, we're going to go to the name of your page, the Turmeric Times. tell us, please, how you chose that name. What's the significance behind the name of your page?
Okay, I love telling everyone about this. So I'm Indian, and just a little background story about being Indian. I am half Indian, and so the color in me and some of the different qualities of being an Indian and in that culture haven't fully shown because of my other half. So
Yes.
when I was
Yes.
younger, my classmates would make fun of me for my darker skin when I was younger. And then would also make fun of like the hair on my arms. Like I'm very hairy, like, very okay. Well, it's
Oh
very,
yeah, yeah,
it's covered,
yeah, yeah.
but it's back. It's there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when I was younger, everything was just kind of growing and flourishing and blooming into me as a person, and so got made fun of a lot. Wanted to mask everything about my Indian side, and now as I'm older, I want to highlight everything. So that was
Of
a huge part of
course.
my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the turmeric thyme. So the turmeric part is from my Indian heritage.
Yeah, yeah.
Turmeric is an amazing root that is widely known to
I love
heal
it.
all across the world in all different countries. It's even
Totally.
vastly known in just common holistic medicine. Like everyone
Yes.
knows it's anti-inflammatory and anti-cancerous and has lots of antioxidants, etc. I can go on and on and on and on. But,
Oh yeah, it's a superfood for sure.
It's magical, but
Yeah, yeah.
that was part of my word for healing. And then times is like the era, the time, the intention. So it's kind of like the era of healing, the time to heal, the turmeric times.
Oh my gosh. No, because I love turmeric a lot as well. And so when I saw the name of your page, I was like, gosh, I wonder how she came up with the combo though of the time, the word times and turmeric. It's like, gee, that's quite interesting. So I'm glad that you kind of, embrace your diversity and, and of course, everyone has to go through that, at some point in time. It might just be a different element to it, I guess. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just common across the board that everyone kind of is a lotus that blooms through the mud. And I love that analogy, or that's not even an analogy. That actually happens. And so
yes.
it's
true. It's true.
Yeah.
And we'll get into yoga later, but tell me a bit about your coaching services, your coaching, certification and services, and what you offer to people, because I have watched some of your videos, and so I'm all into essential oils, but I have adopted a new practice because of one of your videos where you were doing kind of like kind of like an unblocking of stuck energy or something like that. And in one or two of your videos, you actually like put the essential oils, in the palm of your hands and, use it as aromatherapy. And I was like, oh, I'm going to start doing that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I started doing that. And it just adds such a beautiful element to my meditation practice and my stretching and everything. Yeah. And then, when you talked about like unblocking, like stuck energy, it's like, oh yeah, so I'm so glad she's validating that. Like it's a real thing, So please tell everybody about your coaching and your coaching services.
Okay, yeah. So when I first became a coach, it was very hard to understand what people wanted, because everyone was different. Everyone's health positions and states are very different, whether you are, how I was when I first moved to New York, young, naive, have no idea what personal intentions are, or, a little bit older with existing health issues, or maybe people who just want a redirection in their life, reigniting some sort of health in their life. So I don't know. I mean, I could name a billion situations. However,
yeah.
I didn't know where to begin. And it's like, okay, I know I want to help people, but where do I begin? So, my health coaching services are very personal. I don't have cookie cutter plans. I don't like name a date and say by October 20th of 2021, you'll be healed. Like that's not me, and that's not true. I love to leave healing open and leave the plate organically made by you, made by the presence that we bring in our sessions. And it's important that every client I work with has an open heart and an open mind, and they're ready for this journey, because you can't leave one foot in, one foot out and expect results in anything, you know.
You have to be fully engaged. Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what I usually do is I'll do a discovery session, which is just 15 minutes and no commitment needed. It's a very casual, little sweet conversation that we hold for just a very short while. That's just kind of discussing who you are, who I am, and the potential work we could do together to further your health. And then if that all plays out and works well, then we'll move on to our first session. And I like to play it session by session, but I also have packs as well. I'm just trying to figure out pricing for that, because I'm trying to be pandemic sensitive. And there's a lot of people who want this attention for themselves, and I don't want finance to come in the way of that.
It's so interesting you say that, because this week, you know, a health coach was here on a live with me, and she does like a donation based type of a service, because she doesn't want to exclude anyone either, just like you know. And so I just applaud you all for doing that, because these are tough times. And you know, I often say with my inner circle, oh yeah, 2020 is a wash, you know, like just, you know,
we'll let it go.
Yeah. There's just so much that went wrong this year that, you know, and people are really struggling. So again, I applaud you and everyone out there who is, you know, being compassionate towards those who need help.
Of course, it's vital. That's being human. I think it's essential to think of others at this time, especially, but outside of 2020 as well. It's compassion never dies, kindness never dies, and it's important to keep it in practice no matter what's going on, because you don't know what other people's positions are. And I love how different we are, but that's also the side that we need to be sensitive in.
Totally. So I know that you focus on essential oils and herbs. So tell us, how did that all start with you, and how do you incorporate essential oils and herbs or herbs into your practice, your coaching practice, your personal practice?
Yeah, so I would say right around when quarantine began, I was in LA. My boyfriend and I just kind of fled there for indefinitely, because we had no idea what was going on, but his family lives there, and we just wanted some homey vibrations around us, and that really was comforting at the time. But I was very stuck, and I had no idea how to, you know, progress my existence and my purpose, and I needed stimulation. So I reached out to a friend at doTERRA. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, they're super popular.
Very popular, yeah. And they had a certification class, so I took that and became a certified specialist in essential oils. And I was just simply learning about them during that time. And I was trying them out. I was like, ooh, I have a stomach ache, let's try this. Or ooh, I have a headache. Or ooh, I want to relax more. Or I need to go to sleep, or whatever it was, because essential oils are very versatile. You can use them topically, aromatically, and you can ingest them. And so there are a lot of reasons to use essential oils that the average person and whatever's advertised doesn't know about, because we think of, oh, just the diffuser, but it goes beyond that, because that's when it reaches your gut, and I'm all about the gut. Gut health is my language. Love it.
Yeah.
So I was just so intrigued with how you can incorporate these extracts of all the herbs, all the different citrus fruits, barks and leaves and petals and different things, and actually apply it to fast track holistic healing. Because you can steep your tea, but the extract of a tea is like 200 times more potent than like just the leaf. And I don't want that. There's an issue with that statement though, because that will cause people to think, oh, faster is better. And sometimes not, you know?
Right.
There's
Good
no such
point.
thing as a silver bullet. And to get excited about something that's faster and easier, more convenient is just adding to what we all already know today.
Yeah, and it just kind of, creates that kind of a, I hate to use this expression of rat race because obviously I'm vegan and I don't, I don't like those expressions, but just the fact that we're always just on this treadmill, we're just always like rushing around. We need results today, not tomorrow, not next week, but now.
Yeah.
Yesterday. We need it yesterday. And
Yesterday.
yesterday. And living in New York, that. I mean, the pace there is just, incredible. It's like astronomically fast.
Yes, absolutely. And essential oils were kind of that window of, okay, so it's not a tea, it's not, some crushed tincture, it's like extract. And I was obsessed. I was like, wow, this is insane. I've never known that something can reach you on such a deep level. And I learned all about, the cell membranes and how it absorbs in your body. And it's a really wonderful world to learn about. So for anyone who's interested to get certified, it's very simple and you learn so much about essential oils, and you can do it through doTERRA. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I didn't exactly want to sell essential oils. So it was like, that was kind of how their plan is set up. And I wanted to be a part of it. So I incorporate it in my personal life and always suggest it to clients, but it's never like a point of selling. I don't really like sales.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm with you. Like, I feel awkward. Let's put it that way.
I feel very awkward. No matter how many times I practice, it's like, not for me.
I know. Yeah. But, the nice thing is that, for example, selling essential oils and herbs and so forth, or your coaching and so forth, I mean, you're really authentically helping people. It's not like you're selling them like a pipe dream or, some type of pie in the sky nonsense. You're actually trying to help people, so I think there's selling and sales have a negative connotation, but my feeling is, what's the intention behind it?
Of course, that is our magic power, intention. And I bring that to every session and every conversation I hold outside of my practice.
Exactly. So tell us a bit, please, about what's the inspiration behind your recipes, and tell us about your book. I saw that you have a book as well. So tell everybody about that, please.
Yeah. So my recipes are kind of inspired by what I'm feeling, my personal journey of health, and what I know to be like the scale of my personal needs. For an example, because I only know what's happening in my body, and I can't tell people what's happening in theirs, but I can begin to learn. So there were points where when I was healing, I would crave things, and it's a very obvious sign that you have an unhealthy gut when we spark cravings for sugar or salt. And there's a message behind each craving, like you need more water, or you're not properly feeding the good bacteria in your gut. Very different messages, but it's all about listening to your body. So my recipes are inspired by just being intuitive and listening to my body. And there are all these things, right? Like, I'm a spice addict. I'll have spice with everything.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And salt is like my best friend. I love salt, but that's just my personal flaw.
Right. Well, yeah. I guess everything in moderation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But they do say, I just want to say about salt, salt gets a bad rap. I understand that, but they do say that salt kind of breaks down the cell walls of the plants that we're eating.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in that sense, I personally believe that salt can help us with our digestion and obviously opening up flavors and blah, blah, blah. But I do understand that some people choose to stay away from salt, and I'm not here, selling salt or anything. I'm just saying that I personally also feel like salt has a place in moderation.
Definitely. Absolutely. I want, and to mirror that, um, with oils too. I mean, it's all about listening to your body. And I love salt for taste. I personally don't have a health detriment because of salt. Like I don't feel bloated or, I don't have, I think some,
That's a good point.
yeah. So it's all about my recipes are about intuition. And if I want something creamy and decadent and delicious, I want to show people how easy it is to make banana ice cream and have it not taste like bananas for, banana haters to love this dish as well. So it's kind of like, yes, you can make it easy and you can make it a revival meal. Like this is your energetic boost. And it's not just a meal and then you move on to the next meal. It's let's sit down and be intentional with our meals. Let's find really good messages to send our body and our cells because we're communicating through everything.
And food is information. There's so much information in the food we consume.
Yes, exactly. And it's important to listen to your body and be in touch with everything you do, from when you're eating it, where you're eating it, who you're eating it with, who made it. And we all live very diverse lives where sometimes we'll have a moment to sit down and other moments we'll just grab an apple and run out the door. And that's life. But when you have a moment to set an intention with what you're feeding yourself, whether feeding yourself good conversation like this or feeding yourself, a big jug of water, I mean, it really does depend. But you must bring intention and awareness to it, because one of the biggest health issues, in my opinion, is lack of consciousness in what we nourish ourselves with.
Totally. I just want to take a little break here and say thanks to everyone who's joining. And if you have questions for Taya, please pop them down in the comment section below and she'll be happy to answer them.
Yes.
And meanwhile, we're going to go. Oh, you didn't tell us. Tell us a bit about your book first before we move on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So it's not out. It won't be out for another year probably.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it. It's a dream of mine. I'm trying to maybe build connections with a publisher or seek out self-publishing. Not sure yet, but I'm just writing the contents. And every time I sit down, I'm bringing a new message to the book, and I feel really good about it. Because creative spark is very important to me. I add a lot of recipes in the book, of course, and with every recipe, you get an intention along with your recipe. So it's kind of like a personal affirmation that I felt making the dish, creating the dish, that I want to beam to you as you make it and create it yourself. And you can, of course, reconstruct the intention. You could flip through and find a new one or whatever, but it's just supposed to spark the awareness that you can actually apply a message to how you nourish yourself with. So that's one part of the book that I'm really excited about. And then another part is I'm going to include sustainable ways to, sustainable, eco-friendly, but also sustainable in a sustainable lifestyle, where you can promote making foods for people who hate cooking and how to rearrange your kitchen in the best way to spark creativity and turn on awareness, turn on nourishment, and how to rearrange your bedroom where you feel less stress automatically, like feng shui kind of things. That's kind of the whole other side of the book.
And you have a video on how to kind of prepare your room and your bed and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm embarrassed to tell you which part I picked up on, but suffice to say that I really love that video. Now that we're talking about it, because it was a while back that I watched it. Now that we're talking about it, I think I need a refresher. So I'm gonna go
I'll
back.
make a new one. That is
No. I mean, I personally need a refresher on that video. So I think I'm gonna be watching that video again. And I love the intention behind every dish. I super love that. And I also have been inspired by you recently with your food haul, number one, your like farmer's market kind of a haul, or wherever you get your produce from. Like, oh my gosh, her plant food looks so beautiful. That's one thing. And the other thing that you inspired me recently was with your repurposing of this beautiful jar, glass jar, and I guess there were pickles or something in
it's
it.
this one.
Oh my gosh. And I thought, no, I want a jar like this. See, I'm using kind of like the mason jars, you know, the big 32-ounce one.
Those, yeah.
So I'm using those, and I have a few smaller ones. So it's like, oh no. But her jar is prettier, and it was recycled. It was reused. So that was like a recent inspiration. I saw that you had posted. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is a thing. I mean, I knew it was a thing from like peanut butter jars and all that, you know, from way back when, and almond butter jars and things. But I was like, oh my gosh, that jar is beautiful.
Dude, I'm still mesmerized. It makes me excited to drink water, and I think that's why I advertise water. I'm like, reuse your pickle jar today.
Oh my gosh. Well, you certainly inspired me on that one.
Yay.
So yes. So we have less than half an hour here. So let's go to your focus on gratitude, growth, and gut health. I know you touched lightly upon gut health a few minutes ago, but I'd really like for you to share with us, you know, what your what's your reasoning behind focusing on these three areas, please?
Of course. Okay, so starting with gratitude, that's something that I guess applies to my spirituality. I have heightened my gratitude since that moment in my life where I kind of fell in a pit of, you know, challenge. And I like to think of every time I am grateful for something and I verbalize it, I announce it, I present that energy of gratitude, I'm almost mirroring it and then magnifying it. And I think of, if you love something in your life, why not give it attention and magnify it where you have more, right? And it seems like everyone wants something, but once you reel it back in and you realize, wait, what's in my first range of view, what's actually in front of me? And right now, like, I am so grateful to have an ability to speak to you right now, and I'm so grateful to have clothes that make me feel good and feel professional, and I have the most amazing sanctuary that I built for myself, and, you know, XYZ. So you can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
There's no judgment for what you're grateful for, and I love that, because there's a lot of I guess expectation of, what should I be grateful for? I guess, how could I speak in magnitudes like, oh, I'm grateful for my entire family. Of course, go deeper. I'm grateful for my fingers. I'm grateful for my nails. I'm grateful for my movement, my speech, my brain, my lungs, the breath I breathe, the air outside, the sun shining. Really, like, deeper than that even, your immune system, the colors I see. And it amplifies it. I really do believe that it brings a greater, stronger energy to whatever you're grateful for. So that's gratitude. And I love telling everyone about that, because it's about relaying the message of be grateful. Not just when you lose something and you realize how good it was after it's gone, but if you're grateful now, chances are it'll stay. Like, because your awareness reaches out to it.
Yeah, and I'm getting a sensation of like abundance as well from what you're talking about too. Like, and I love how you're saying go deeper. And then when you were drilling down with those examples, I was like, wow, there's like so much abundance. You know?
You have a lot. We have a lot as humans, and the fact that we are born and we're here speaking today, that is a lot. From here until the moment we arrived on the earth, I mean, we have a lot of experience, a lot that has added to our existence on this planet, and it means a lot to be here. And I know everyone doesn't have the same perspective, and that's okay. but inching your way towards consciousness, gratitude, and becoming and becoming you. And I feel like that's a part of how we grow into the next step and how we elevate ourselves as humans. Yeah. But that's gratitude. So I guess growth is kind of bouncing off of that, because you grow every time you practice gratitude. But the reason why I have growth on my bio, I guess, is that during our healing journey, no matter where you're at, if you know everything about health, you're taking your vitamins, green juice, blah, 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 like that's very cookie cutter standards, you always have a platform to grow on. You always have an area in your life that needs strengthening. And that's just us as imperfect beings, because we are so beautifully, wonderfully imperfect. And growing is why we're here. Experiencing and elevating ourselves, that's why we're here. So I'm a firm believer in creating space and loving each moment in our lives with no judgment and no clenching onto each moment. Like, let it flow and you'll grow. And it's about
Totally
letting go of your past experiences, letting go where you've been or what you've done, because it's about where you are now.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to say where you'll go, because that's inevitable. But
yeah.
I feel like now is what you have. Be grateful for this moment. Be grateful for the growth you have made today.
Totally.
Yes. And then gut health.
Well, I mean, that you could talk about that for a whole year.
Yeah. Oh my God. So everyone knows about the gut. Okay, bye.
No. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's such a huge topic, but tell us.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So the gut, very basic information, that we have trillions of bacteria living inside of us. We have more bacteria than we have cells. And that's exponential. We don't have a way to fathom how influenced our body is by the way we live. And our gut is like the innermost shell, the inner headquarters of our existence. And if our gut is imbalanced, if the bacteria in our body is not being fed the right things or being taken care of properly, then things will flop. Something will happen. And you'll get messages. What's really cool about our bodies is we get communication from the deepest part of our body, the deepest part of our bacteria, these tiny things we don't even see or talk about. We get messages from them. We get headaches. We get soreness. We get bloating. We get low energy. We get acne. We sometimes get more severe messages like autoimmune diseases, cancers, and so on. So messages range, and it's important for us to go back to intuition, because as soon as we heighten our awareness of where we are at now, then we can get a sense of where we're at, what's going on, and try to actually communicate by saying, all right, body, all right, gut, here's water. We're going to flush things out. We're going to rehydrate. We're going to cleanse, get back to the basics, replenish. We're going to fill up. And there are so many different ways to heal the gut. I think just starting with learning how to communicate with it before, trying out intermittent fasting or implementing fruits and veggies, and that should be a basic. But and more water, more sleep. Gut health even impacts sleep. So it's kind of, we just have to pay attention to messages. Yeah. I guess I'm trying not to say anything that is going to be repetitive from what people know about gut health, but the gut is our existence. And people say, follow your gut.
Yeah.
That's just like,
yeah.
That should amplify how important it is. You get this feeling.
And the gut-brain connection, too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and all of our emotions and everything are all in there.
Yeah, hormone balance, all of that good stuff. And even like reproductive organs and nervous systems and muscle recovery. everything. And until we have an optimal gut, which I don't think none of us have, we're all working for it, right? That goes part of growth.
Yeah,
We can always be working on it. We can always implement long-term support, and then also short-term support. I think long-term is like drinking water every day forever. And then short-term support is maybe a green juice or a salad or some phytonutrients that you can provide in that moment.
Yeah, lots of diversity too. We need lots of, biodiversity for all the healthy bacteria.
We thrive off of differences. And I think that also goes back to how beautifully different we are. And if we are celebrating our differences, celebrating the fact that we have many options in a healthful world, let's utilize all of them, not just leafy greens. Let's try cruciferous vegetables. Let's try nuts. Let's try seeds. Let's try fermented foods. It's really wonderful to just amplify everything you have. And depending on where you're at, you have different availability, different accessibility to these foods. And I completely understand that. So some of the things that I'm focusing on are very simple DIY at home 3-ingredient recipes that apply and help support people who don't have, Whole Foods next to them or can't afford Whole Foods, because that's a very expensive outlet for food that isn't the only one. So my new transition was to the farmer's market and composting, and that supported my entire life. I'm supporting my local community, and they're supporting me back with amazing foods, and it's budget friendly, and they have a composting station. I get to make friends. I get to share the community that I'm living in, and it is a wonderfully brain food, primary food, off the plate nourishment that gives me satisfaction, gives me elevation in my life to live that way. And that's kind of where I get the idea for creating dishes that are gut friendly, mind friendly, body friendly, and hopefully lifestyle friendly, eco friendly, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Now, I'm going to pause our topics to jump to the questions in the comment section. I want to thank you guys for the questions. So we have Caleb Will Be Great. Love that name. So when I talk about veganism to my mother, she gets offended and says I'm bullying her.
Yeah.
So Taya, what would you say to Caleb on that?
Hi, Caleb. Well, it honestly is it's a very touchy conversation, and it can be so sensitive, almost as sensitive and controversial as politics are. And honestly, I have had to just prioritize myself, because you can only control what is within your skin. Everything that goes beyond your skin is something that we're no control, no matter how much we want to think we can. And I know we care about our moms, we care about our family members, our friends, our family, whoever's around us. We want to be the drop that ripples out, but you are the drop that ripples out. And the ripple is simply you prioritizing yourself, your morals, you as an individual you have the choice to amplify plant foods and leave cruelty behind. You have the choice to be present with your food. You have the choice to educate others, and you'll hold that space when they're ready to have a very kind, compassionate conversation, because we all want to meet other people at their level. But if they're not ready to listen even, then that's okay. And it's hard in the moment, because all you want to do is bring them on board and educate them, right? Grow with them. But sometimes all you can do is inspire by doing you and rippling your truth, your existence in the moment. Another really fun thing that I would suggest to people who are going through the same thing is just ask, can I make dinner tonight? And feed them a plentiful dish of nice variety of foods. You can even incorporate some of the wonderful alternatives that we have to animal products, right? So all of
Like
that is,
burgers and
yeah,
yeah, things like that. Hmm.
like Beyond Meat and all that stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's a really, really good, gentle stepping stone to optimizing the body in a way where we don't have to include other beings. And I think
Totally.
just start there and you'll see the magic that happens when you just say, okay, I'm going to make my own dinner tonight. And, you know, don't forget about yourself. Don't just rally with the crowd. If the crowd doesn't want to listen or take a moment to even understand it, and don't feel left behind, be the light. Be the light.
Yeah, and I would add, Caleb, also, like, you know, it's piggybacking off of what Tay is saying, but for me, I prefer to just live my life as an example, lead by example. And when they're ready, they're gonna come and ask you questions, you know. And a lot of times people can't even tell that, you know, a vegan burger is not an animal burger. Like,
Yeah.
you know, or you know, a vegan cheese, a plant cheese is not real cheese, quote unquote, or animal cheese. So I really like your idea about, you know, cooking for people. And I've heard people, you know, give that example as well. So Caleb, I hope that those tips help you. And I'm super sorry that you are, you know, going through the situation at the moment.
Yeah.
We also have a question from Nick Vaz 49. Best foods or supplements does she suggest for optimal gut health?
Oh, wow. Okay, really quickly, I want to mention to Caleb before we move on. Sorry. I know that you said that she gets offended and says, I'm bullying her. Show her compassion, show her love, show her the side that is the reason you're going vegan. So that's all I want to do. Close that. Okay. Okay, for gut health, yes, amazing. Gut health, I would say look at where you're at now. How are you feeling? What are your messages? I don't like to say symptoms. I feel like that's a very Western way of saying things. I like messages better because it's just communication. Every symptom is a communication from your gut. So general foods, general supplements that we can use and incorporate in our diet, in our daily life. Starting with fermented foods. So that is just praising the good bacteria. This is in the form of kimchi or kombucha, sauerkraut, pickles. You can even make your own fermented food. You can make fermented carrots. I'm obsessed with pickles, hence the empty jar. Had to put that in there.
I love that jar. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, but you could. It is a wide variety because you can pickle any vegetable.
Apple cider vinegar is one of my favorites.
Oh, I was gonna. Yes, exactly.
Apple cider vinegar with the mother, the organic one with the I put that in my smoothies even, to be honest with you. I put it in my smoothies. I do because I just love I just figure it'll give me an extra kick.
Oh yeah, I mean,
well, it'll give my bacteria an extra kick.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. If you can, do a like apple cider vinegar shot after a meal because it could be intense on the lining of your gut, then go for it. I personally, it is so hard for me to get past the taste, so I stick to salty, satisfying, crunchy foods that are fermented in like vinegars or salt waters. And obviously, the longer you let it sit, it's simply just chop up a vegetable, pour in some vinegar, salt, garlic, whatever else you want in there, jar it, store it for as long as you please, open it, and you know, if you like the taste, then store it in the fridge and you're good to go. But it's really great because that kind of satisfies my personal liking where it's like, okay, I don't have to give up. I'm not giving anything up. In fact, I'm like crowding in really good foods. So I'm meeting in the middle, like, okay, I'm treating my gut, but I'm also getting some nice crunchy pickles or something like that. And then the next thing I would say is your basic vitamins. So every human needs B12, and that's an ample vitamin for health and longevity.
And there are vegan options. Yes.
So B12 is not from an animal or a plant, and it's something that we get from the bacteria that's coated in the planet. We can't get it from the bacteria that's coated in the planet just breathing the air because we're so sterile, and everything has kind of just been touched by man. And so you can get it in a very nice spray bottle from Whole Foods or your local health food store. You can also get it in a capsule, like a crunchy, I don't know, it depends wherever you are and your accessibility to it, but it's inexpensive, lasts a long time, and it makes a big difference on your gut. And then I would say another really good gut food, every plant food is amplifying the gut, by the way, but to just touch on some specific things, it would be greens, like alkaline foods. So things with high water content. Your gut loves water, your gut loves hydration. Things like romaine, cucumber, bell pepper, watermelon, all kinds of berries. I think that's it. Yeah, there's a lot. Every vegetable has water. It's kind of just finding the ones with the highest water content that your gut loves. And then lastly, one that everybody hates or has an issue with is legumes and beans. I know they make everyone have some sort of reaction, and that is a good thing. If I could tell everyone, it's a good thing, because what happens in your gut, that fiber is in every plant. So potatoes, whatever you have in your fridge, cauliflower, spinach. And what fiber does is it acts as a vacuum that absorbs every toxin, all extra estrogen or cholesterol from the body, from the organs, from your intestines and colons, and it draws it out. It gets out the waste, and it's really good to incorporate beans and legumes daily if you can. Some people are very sensitive to that, so micro implementation is
you build up on it.
So the farting and the pooping and all that stuff is very normal. It's just uncomfortable, but it's doing the job, hence the vacuum. And what
it's like a broom. It's like sweeping it all out.
It feels amazing when your body's used to it, because you then start to like want beans because of that factor. And it's really important. So those are very basic things. Also, green tea is for oral bacteria. This is your gateway, by the way. This is your gateway to everything internal health-wise. You drink water, you drink green tea. Make sure you brush your teeth before you eat anything in the morning, because it resets the bacteria in your mouth, which primes the bacteria in your gut. So if you're going to drink water even, I would just make sure to brush your teeth, because after you do that, you're priming the gut with the first things you put in your body after the period of fasting. So for an example, I will go and brush my teeth. Then I'll have green tea, and I'll swish the green tea in my mouth, make sure all the bacteria under my tongue, under and between my teeth, it all is reached and absorbed, and then I swallow. And I'll do that. I don't have to like swish every time, but it's good. It's like a nice little coating that's sparking up the good bacteria and going, oh yes, this is what we're doing. This is what we're feeding right now. And we're communicating to our bodies the antioxidants, the energy levels, the anti-cancerous properties, and so on. And it communicates not just in your mouth, because you have bloodstream access as it absorbs like through thin skin, but it seeps down into your gut. And so you have two microbiomes. Actually, you have three. For women, we have vaginal microbiomes, and then we also have our gut microbiome, and then our oral microbiome. So those are just some of the things for gut health.
I love that. Now, Taya, we have chatted so much that we only have 5 minutes left.
Oh my gosh!
And we have like a ton of other topics, but not to worry. Listen, we have another question, and I just want you to answer that question from Cassie. And then at the end, just tell us how people can contact you, because we're running out of time.
Yes. Okay.
Common concern, perception, difficult. Protein. Okay.
Protein.
And especially for those who want to maintain or build their muscle mass.
Yeah, absolutely. For Okay, yes, I was just checking for more questions. Okay, really fast in the 5 minutes. So, okay, I want to reassure everybody. Protein is within every plant. Every plant has protein. Yes, Yukon potatoes have protein. Yes, the salad you just ate has a bunch of protein. For specifically protein-dense foods that are plants would be pumpkin seeds. Legumes are not only fibrous and amazing and feed our bodies with lots of carbohydrates to replenish our energy, but provide beautiful amounts of protein and feed our muscles. What's really great right now, especially about a plant-based diet, is plants influence the Goldilocks rule, where the porridge is not too hot, it's not too cold, and it knows how to regulate protein levels. So you're actually feeding yourself the protein levels that match your body completely. And if you're feeding yourself plants, you're always feeding yourself vitamins you need, all the essentials. If you are consuming processed, like a bag of pretzels, for an example, versus an apple, there is protein in the apple. In the pretzels, you're only getting 100 calories of a bunch of different made-up processed foods that actually, those are the things you need to be wary of, and just make sure you are limiting processed things, because if you're consuming protein like powders, for an example, you could overdo it. And there are a lot of messages your body gives you once you overdo it. So, oh gosh, was that it? I don't know.
I tell you what, Cassie, if you do have additional questions for Taya, I'm going to just be bold and say to please contact Taya.
Please, yeah, message me. I'll happily walk it through you. I have a lot. There's a lot to say. For anyone else out there, thank you for listening. You can contact me on my page, The Turmeric Times. I answer every DM. I don't leave I don't leave a sloppy inbox. I love messaging people. It is my thing. I love communication, and I'm so happy to be here. And thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Taya. And I feel terrible that we ran out of time, but
I'm a chatty Cathy.
I know, we're only allowed an hour. So, but I think we covered almost everything. And again, I want to thank you so much. Close us out, please, with like 30 seconds. Wrap this all up and put a bow on it for us.
Oh my
Give
gosh.
us your 30 seconds closing remarks here, Taya.
Okay, here we go. We are all wonderful. We all have potential for health. We are abundant beings with opportunities in front of us. Go take them. The next time you have availability to water, the next time you have availability to food, the next time you have availability to a bed, to a moment that you can hold for yourself, be present in, and reward yourself with attention, because you deserve it. Healthcare is self-care, is self-love. So treat yourself like a royal. Treat yourself like you treat your loved ones, with open ears, open heart, and that's optimal health. Everyone has.
Thank you so much, Taya. Now I'm gonna save this, and I'll message you afterwards. But I want to thank you again, Taya, and thanks to everyone who joined. And enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.